Well, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. Now, I thought I'd just do a short video on the subject of collecting garage memorabilia. I mean, there's many different strands to this particular subject. Automobilia is a huge market, really. You've got the really expensive high-end stuff, the big enamel signs, the garage signs, the forecourt petrol pumps and so on, and there are some stunning examples out there for big money, but that's not really my sort of cup of tea. If I was going to spend a couple of £1,000, I'd rather buy another car than just another garage sign, so which is why I don't actually have much in the way of the high-end stuff. Well, I haven't got anything really, but I do like to look for a bargain, and you may have spotted in the garage that I do like to surround myself with lots of the old memorabilia that relates to garages and cars in the days of yesteryear, and try and make the place feel like an oldie worldy workshop may have done back in the 1950s or the 1960s. Now, there are different ways of going about creating that kind of environment in the garage at home. Now, for many years I've been looking out for this stuff to decorate the place with: old spanners, tools, cans and so on, and yes, there's quite a few items in there now, but it doesn't have to be an expensive way of collecting an interesting subject. Take tools for example. If you go to an antique centre or a collector's centre, you'll often see tools neatly laid out and individually priced, and spanners or whatever, maybe £4, £5, £6 each, something like that, which is fair enough if it's something really rare. But if it's just a common garden spanner that's maybe 50 years old, it soon starts becoming quite expensive. But like I say, individually priced spanners in an antique centre, £4 or £5 a time, that would cost a lot to collect if you started buying quite a few of them. But you go to like a car boot sale or a jumble sale or somewhere like that, or perhaps even a general household auction, and you could buy a handful of these spanners for maybe just £2 or £3 at a time. And that is the way I've gone about collecting the old items of memorabilia that are in the garage, and most of probably what's in there has come from car boot sales and general household auctions and places like that, where you can still pick up interesting old things, or these things I find interesting, and for very modest sums, because most people just aren't interested. The market for old Whitworth spanners and Imperial spanners, AF spanners and so on is tiny. Most people just don't want to know. They've got no use for them. Not many people tinker with old cars now in their spare time, and as a result, anything that relates to them, unless it's something that's really grabbing and attractive to hang on the wall, say, most people just don't really care very much. You know, old lamps, spark plugs, like I say, spanners, screwdrivers, that kind of thing, little tins. Most people just aren't really that interested. So I thought in this video I would just have a look at last weekend's. On Sunday we went to a single car boot sale, looking for the kind of things that I do like to find and decorate the garage with, and I thought we'd just have a quick look through, go through the bag of dreams here, and just see what items we picked up for a negligible amount of money. Now, there's a mixture of my things in here, and some of them are Harley's as well, so I thought I'd better record this video before he comes and claims his items for himself in his own workshop. But I thought it'd be interesting just to have a quick shuffle in the bag here and just see what items turned up for relatively modest amounts of money. Okay, let's have a quick look through here then. So first, exhibit 1 is this wonderful old oil can. It's a Wesco can. I'm guessing probably 1970s, somewhere around there, so it's not super old. It's not got a super, very nice label particularly, but it's original. And this, like I say, these bits and bobs that I picked up at the weekend, it's a mixture of things that are just decorative for the old garage, and also some of them do actually serve a purpose. And this is a fully functioning oil can, and that will look just perfect in the garage. So it won't be the first one that's in there, but it looks just about the right amount of wear on it and so on. And that was bought for the grand sum of 50 pence. Like I say, most of the things I've accumulated are cheap and cheerful, and that is a perfect example of it. So let's have a quick look in here and see what else we picked up last Sunday. Now, just another little decorative item here for the shelf. This is a Champion spark plug. There's an old plug in it even. I'll just have a quick look in there and see what delights there are. We've got a used Champion D16 spark plug. May not be any use, but as a decorative item, I think that's probably 50p well spent. That's Harley's actually. He's going to add that to his collection and put that in his workshop of dreams. Great little thing. I'd have bought that if I hadn't seen it. If I'd seen it first, but unfortunately he beat me to it. He's usually about 5 paces ahead of me, so that's what happens. Right, well, next up we have, let's have a look. We've got an old RAC badge. Now, I think it would have originally had a crest on there, but for a couple of pounds, I think that looks pretty good to me. Certainly a nice thing to put on the shelf, and it could even go back on the car. It's a bit scratty, but if the car's a bit scratty, then why not put that on? You don't want a super shiny one. Property of the RAC, Birmingham Medal and Badge Company Limited. So I'm guessing that would be, what, 1950s, something like that. But on a 50s car, especially one that's not immaculate, that would look just great. So, another little gem there, and like I say, I think that was a couple of pounds. What else? A very nice old grease gun. You can just about make out on here, it's a Calumet. They were a well-known maker of grease guns. A lot of their products were like in the factory toolkits of cars back in the day. This hasn't been cleaned up at all. It's as found, but this is brass. You can see that this is brass. The handle is brass, and this end is brass. So a little bit of time spent on it, and that would actually come up looking really nice. It's a screw action one as well, so you'd literally twist that, and in theory, grease would pop out of there. And again, this is just the kind of thing that so few people actually want, this kind of thing, because no one greases their cars anymore apart from people like me. So consequently the market for something scruffy like this is actually quite small, but that will actually clean up quite nicely indeed, and again will look just perfect in my old garage. So I was really pleased to find that. I mean, you can sometimes go for weeks and not find a single thing, so we just did quite well last Sunday. Like I say, that was £1, that was. Next up, Fluxite soldering paste tin. I found this in the bottom of, I think this was an old toolbox just with some miscellaneous junk in there. The most effective flux known. I'm guessing that's probably 1950s, 1960s, something like that. But again, on a shelf, that'll look just perfect. Again, like I say, 50 pence I think that was. So, carrying on, an old drill. Now, who's this one by? Does it actually say on it? There we go, Stanley. Well-known tool maker. I mean, the brand is still around now, but I doubt much of their products are actually made in this country anymore, but made in England, number 5803. And it's quite a neat drill. It's not the usual design. All the gear wheels are actually enclosed to keep the dirt off them, and that still works just as well as it did when it was made, probably in the, I'm guessing that's 1950s, something like that. If you know anything about these old tools, please drop a note in the comments, but it's just great. It's a cast aluminium body on it. Most of the paint is worn away, but you can see that it was originally all black around here with this yellow piece here. But that's a lovely old thing, and again, just a few pounds. So collecting interesting things needn't cost a fortune, or at least things that I'm interested in. So there's another one of Harley's little finds. We've got an old brass blow lamp. It's a Primus lamp. It needs tightening up a little bit. Primus of Sweden. They did a lot of blow lamps and also little camping stoves, that kind of thing. Primus. There we go. Trademark. AB something 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 and Co. of Sweden. Great stuff. As it even says Primus on there. And I'm sure this would probably still work if we went and got some paraffin from somewhere. But you've got the choice. You either clean it up, polish it up, make it immaculate, or just leave it as it is, slightly dull, but looking its age. Let me know in the comments what you would do. A lot of people repurpose these into lamps and things, which gets Harley very, very annoyed indeed, because he'd much rather see these old things exactly as they were rather than messed about with. But again, on a shelf, that'll look just fantastic. Right, let's carry on. Now, something that's actually useful, a coping saw, but not just any coping saw, but an Eclipse number 7CP, and again, made in England. This was just another couple of pounds, but beautiful thing, very tactile, plated. It's even got a great blade on it as well. Use Eclipse coping saw blades. Perfect. Of course, not everything has to have a purpose, and next out we have this lovely little pickup truck, a Morris J2 pickup made in England by Lesney. Now originally it would have had transfers on the side here. I forget what they should say. I have got another one of these somewhere, but off the top of my head I can't quite remember what it should say. Possibly Meccano, but I could be wrong. But that was £1. And what a lovely little thing that is. I used to actually have one of these, a full-size one, and at the time there was only a couple known in the country, so it was quite a rare thing. I often wonder what happened to it. But no, it's a little gem from the Lesney School of Toy Production, and that is from the late 1950s, early 1960s. There was the Morris J2, and there was also the Austin badge version, the Austin 152, but this is the Morris. Now, an old spanner time. Here we have, you have to excuse the noise next door, a Fiat spanner, 8mm and 10mm. Not sure on the date, probably 50s or 1960s, but again, a nice little survivor, and that'll go in the collection of branded spanners that's in the garage. And just a few pence bought that one, so another great find. Right, well, we're back to old drills again, and two very small hand drills now. Here's the first. Not quite sure who made this one. It's very small, but just quite a neat little item. That'll clean up quite nicely. Still plenty of original paint there on the handle, on the windy bit, and there. That could be used, and there are times when you actually need to use just a small little hand drill if you're doing something delicate. So not only does that look quite nice, it'll clean up well, and it's also usable. So that was a bargain, and with that came this second old hand drill, and again similar age, probably 1950s, and the remains of an old manufacturer's label on there. Can't quite see what that used to be, other than it says British made, but that'll clean up quite nice. And like I say, these are as found, not even cleaned up yet at all, but that'll oily rag up quite nicely. So nice find. That's 3 hand drills in one session, so that's quite good going. And again, that does actually serve a purpose. It's a bit seized at the moment, but it won't take much to free that up. Last of all, we have the Smith's Automotive Electrical Instrument Tester. 12 volt, Smith's Motor Accessory Division Service Department, Oxgate Lane, London, NW2. So let's have a closer look at this little gem. Right, so this is a testing set for Smith's car gauges. If we have a quick look inside this wonderful old wooden box, we can see what is lurking within. There is the tester itself. Now, let's have a looky here. So we can select fuel gauge, thermal, so that's temperature gauge, semiconductor, not quite sure what that is, and bimetallic. Because of course some gauges work using bimetallic strips inside, and you can pick whichever thing it is that you want to test. And here we've got a voltmeter reading up to 10 volts. Handily, within the lid is this useful information sheet. So you've got Automotive Electrical Instrument Tester, so you can test battery voltage, you can test instrumentation, determine the type of instrument by means of code on dial, and select the corresponding segment on the test switch. And then this is what you do. So fuel gauge is fuel gauge, temp gauge, blah blah blah. And then the instructions on how to actually use this particular little instrument tester. So that's quite an interesting thing. So I think one day we'll actually fire that up, dig out some old gauges and actually see if this works or not. So that'll be quite exciting. So again, that popped up at the car boot sale just the other day. Still in its original box. Quite an interesting thing. I'm guessing that's probably, what, 1950s, 1960s, something like that. But yeah, a really interesting little find. I've not seen one of those before, so I was really pleased to buy that. Again, just a few pounds. This stuff needn't be expensive, and you can build up quite an interesting collection without having to shell out huge amounts of money. So anyway, that's just a quick look at some of the old memorabilia we picked up recently, and hopefully it gives a bit of an idea of just how affordable some of this stuff is. So you can accumulate quite a lot of it for very modest amounts of money, and the overall look when you get it all together just really does look good, especially when you've got an old car in the garage as well. So anyway, I hope that short video was of interest. Please check out the channel for other videos that talk about memorabilia in the old car world, and there'll be more videos along very soon. So thanks for watching, bye for now. Oh, there we go. That didn't take too long to free up.